name is Kirsty Dignam and welcome to this week's Monday's Musings, although it is actually Sunday the 5th of June, a day before the 666 portal. I think I should include at the end of this video a blooper reel because this is the third or fourth attempt at just getting started, and that feels like key this week to recognise the many attempts we've had to get to this point and how they are an opportunity to get ourselves started and just to keep going and not wait for things to be perfect. When we wait for something to be perfect based on our own assumptions, our own judgments, our own views, quite often nothing gets completed. So really, this week in particular, if we feel as if there's a start and stop energy, not aggressively pushing through it, but keep going, keep trying, keep moving forward however you can do that this week. And that may mean that some things are done early, like this video, and some things are perhaps done later than planned. And that is the second emphasis this week, planning. There's a lot of background noise going on, and I wondered whether or not in my own home and in the collective, and I wondered whether or not my video would pick it up. And the microphone that I have and the speakers that I have are very good at filtering that, and that feels very poignant again this week when it comes to planning and background noise, making sure you filter out what isn't relevant. As always, this video as well. There's quite a sneaky energy that I can feel, a mischievous energy, a distraction type energy, and I'm very aware that even though Mercury is going forward, I think from the 2nd, I think it was, we are in that shadow aspect. So for some people, this end part can actually be more tricky. You know, Mercury is the trickster as well, especially when it comes to communication. So it can be more tricky in the shadow aspect because we have that, oh, it's done, it's over, I've completed that, and that's normally when something comes up to bite us in the backside. So really being aware that we are still in that reflective period when it comes to planning and communication as well. What else? There was something else about that. Yes, Saturn. Saturn also went retrograde a couple of days ago. I think Saturn does it. I'm not an astrologer. There's plenty of information out there, but I think Saturn does it every 4 months or so, or 4 months. 4 months, so let's say that in a sentence, every year. And Saturn is very much to do with time and restrictions and, you know, feeling as if we're not quite getting somewhere. Again, with that and Mercury in the shadow aspects, it's a real opportunity to reflect on A, are we getting somewhere? This video included, I hear. B, is it where we actually wanted to get? So going back into the energy of last week, again, intention is key, and I nearly never did a video for this week because the energy doesn't feel that much different from the last recording. However, there are emphasis still being made on intention. Intention is really key this week. So the reason I'm doing the video early is from tonight actually, but tomorrow onwards I will be spending several days with some beautiful souls talking about creation and manifestation. Now this workshop has actually been carried within me for several years, and it's been very difficult to wait for the divine timing, very difficult to know my own process, very difficult to ensure that it wasn't just because I wanted things to be perfect, and really trusting that. So it's one thing to have an intention, it's another thing to trust the intention that we have and where that has come from. So several years ago, if somebody had told me I would run a workshop on wombs and creativity, that intention just, I wouldn't have believed it. And part of the belief has come from the journey itself. So really emphasizing that this week. How much do we believe in our intention? And if there is a bit of wavering there, really looking back on our journey that has led us carrying this seed, okay? And also what we have been doing to feed that. So when I talk about feeding the seeds, one of the things I shall be sharing over the next few days is the womb rites. And like any of the Moon IQ rites, it is but a seed of energy. It needs to be germinated, it needs to be fed, it needs to be cleared, de-weeded, nurtured. Okay, so again, when we look at our intentions, and it feels key in regards to the 666 portal, we have that, we then have a full moon, we then have the solstice, some incredible magical energy at the moment still, when isn't there? But in particular, this month, even if it doesn't feel that way, sometimes when things are out of our control, or when things feel as if they are not going anywhere, what that gives us is a unique opportunity to look at, do we want them to go where we wanted them to anymore? Has our intention changed? Have we actually fed our intention as best we can? Do we believe in ourselves and our ability to hold space for this intention? So the fourth and final aspect this week really feels like manifesting but letting go of the outcome. So let's bring it back again to the analogy of this workshop. Many times I believed it needed to be a certain place. Many times I believed I needed certain things first, and I tried to direct how I wanted this workshop to go. Within reason, it has happened in those ways, but when I've stepped back and held space for the intention and believed in my ability to do that and nurtured myself as the creator of what it is I'm trying to deliver, some of the things have actually turned out totally unexpected. So for argument's sake, we're going to have a dispatcher, we're going to have sound baths, we're going to bring in the masculine, when originally this workshop was about the feminine and the womb. So when we can step back, so there's 4 key aspects this week: intention, nurturing our intention and nurturing ourselves as the holder of this intention, trust our intention, belief in our intention, and seeing how far for many this intention has been weaved throughout their life's story. So with the womb workshop, it's no coincidence I was a midwife. It's no coincidence I've had my own problems with my womb and had to have operations and healing and all that kind of thing. So really recognizing that our intention has almost been the underlying DNA strand of who we are. Okay, so then we start to really see the magnitude of what we once thought was a wish list. Yeah. And fourth, I've completely forgotten what the fourth one was. Yes, not to get too attached to the outcome. When we try and direct something how we believe it should be, it's not that we don't have a say in it. Very often we do not see the sheer magnitude of what we could create. When it becomes just about our expectations, it becomes just about us. So in that space, we don't get all the other weaving magics and energies added to it. So I knew there was quite a time ago where the workshop was ready, the space was ready, but I then knew that there was energy that needed to be added to it in the shape and form of those that are attending. And the moment these individuals signed up, the workshop changed. I haven't changed, my intention hasn't changed, the outcome hasn't changed, but the ingredients of the workshop has organically adapted to what is needed. So this week, cannot reiterate it enough, very, very powerful magic out there, particularly over the 666 portal, really looking at those 4 aspects of our ability to create. We need to go over them again. So intention and how much we believe in our intention, adjusting our intention as needed, nurture of the seeds that we have planted, ourselves included as the bearers of these intentions. Really flowing and looking out for it and not getting attached to the outcome. Okay, so yes, 666 portal, right. There's emphasis here with Saturn going into retrograde and Mercury still being in the shadow aspect. The reason a lot of people are are undecided in the unknown, let's not look at it as still undecided, but in the unknown, is because there's a greater wisdom trying to come in. There's a greater level of information trying to come in to be conceived. That requires us to go into our shadow. That requires us to go into all the things that may be holding us back. It's one thing to intend something. So for argument's sake, again, let's bring it back to the analogy of this womb workshop, and I'll just share some of my own journey with you. It's one thing for me to intend to do a women workshop. I then wanted it to be in the country, in a field. That then got bigger, and I wanted it to be in my own space, in the country, in a field, in my own retreat. And you know, you see how big these things get, and that's great. Expansion is fantastic. But when a woman has a child, there's an old myth, and I've actually seen it happen and had it happen myself. There's an old myth that during labour she will go into the void, into the space of transition, and go into the other worlds and call down the soul of that child in order to deliver. Definitely had it happen to myself. I've definitely seen it as a midwife. When we have this big, we're fully pregnant, we're gestating this wonderful idea, when we have this expansive opportunity, which is what is actually being gifted to us this week in particular over the portal, very much going in and realizing what it is we're calling down, and that's going to take focus, and that's going to take looking at our own restrictions. You know, it's one thing for me to wish for a field and a retreat and countryside, but at that point when I'd wished for that, I didn't have the wisdom in myself, I didn't have the confidence in myself to even run the workshop. So of course nothing was created, and that was part of the process. There's no judgment there, that was part of the process. So really with these expansive ideas this week, really going within and seeing how strong you feel to bring them down. Really using this Mercury shadow to communicate with yourself and reflect on where you're at and where you've been in comparison to where you want to go, and really looking at any restrictions there and seeing them for what they are. They are a chance to grow. They are a chance to look at any healing that may need to occur. They are a chance to stretch our vision a little bit. You know, they are contractions of creativity, restrictions. It's all how we choose to see it. Okay, so with that in mind, let's look at the energy for this week. So what I feel I need to do at this moment is step back. Okay, so there's a real emphasis there on knowing what you're being asked to do this week and focusing on that and witnessing everything else. So let's really do that. Let's just... There's a real difference between, there's that saying, isn't there? Knowledge is sharing something, and wisdom is knowing when to, or something like that. I do apologise who that's from. But it is one thing to talk about things. It is one thing to share what we have learned. It is a completely different other experience to know whether it's relevant to someone's journey, our own included. So I just want to mention some of the guidance that was given this morning. Within the Peruvian tradition, there are 3 centers of being that make up our reality, and they are wisdom, and they are love or moon eye, and they are service. So they are in our third eye, our heart, and our root chakra. When we are open to wisdom, when we are light in our heart, and when we are grounded in the service that we provide, we become an open vessel for any information that needs to come through. So with that in mind, energies this week, and quite often that isn't what we expect it to be. And that is where we very often collectively feel out of control and end up going back to past patterns, because there's comfort there, right? There's comfort in what we've always provided. There's comfort in what we've always felt, and there's comfort in what we've always known. But knowledge was once described to me by my guides as knowing that has been placed on a ledge. So now, thankfully, now I'm getting the analogy of, I studied midwifery for years. And when I went out to practice, I passed with great results. And when I went out to practice, I remember seeing a newborn soul with blue lips. Now, for me, blue lips was that child was cyanosed. That child was having difficulty with their heart, and I actually panicked. For the mother of this child, who was on her 4th or 5th child, great experience, great life experience. She lifted up this baby, burped the baby, and the lips came back pink. So what I'm getting at here is it's one thing to understand something, it's another to have experienced it, and that takes knowledge to a whole new level of wisdom. And that feels like key this week, particularly around the 666 portal, to recognize our place here. You know, we do learn from the experiences that we have had. And it's a respect that is required this week. The last thing I want to mention is I've noticed this morning outside, it was very warm, very muggy, the last 3 weeks been very Heyoka type energy. 5 of Cups at the bottom of the pack. Very Heyoka type energy. So 2 weeks ago we had the tower moments, the lightning bolts, the change. Last week we had the more needing to lighten up type energy, and this week in particular I feel the more shadow aspect of the Heyoka. Distraction for distraction's sake, and we're talking the 5 of Cups here, so we're talking not quite ready to move forward, so we will seek out those distractions almost on purpose, so that we can either confirm what we know or confirm our doubts or our fears. And that's key. What are we actually confirming this week when we're seeking out this knowledge? Are we confirming our own wisdom, or are we confirming our own lack? In particular this week, in particular over the 666 portal, we are talking the Lover's card, we are talking Eden, we are talking the original sin of lack, you know, that we don't belong here. And that's going to come up for many this week in what they do, in their relationships, in how they communicate and how they create. So the shadow aspect of the Heyoka. Now what I felt this morning was a real mugginess in the air that build up before there's a thunderstorm, but underneath it, the build up before there's big change, underneath it I felt atmospheric pressure pushing us collectively to go down, to root, to, you know, real pressure on the head, to really ground into our body this week. And that does feel like the emphasis, to really reconnect to our own physical vessel and its ability to create, particularly tomorrow over the 666 portal. So I'm going to be doing some ceremonies, and what I will do is put a link to a couple of meditations that might, if you feel drawn to, aid with the energy, just to help reconnect to the womb of Pachamama and to remember your space here and your place here. So, okay, let's step back again. That feels like key this week. Keep stepping back, keep observing. There are times we are going to be drawn into the vision of others, the reality of others, and that doesn't mean that it's not true for them. You know, that is their reality, and when we get drawn in, we're getting drawn in to see if there's anything there that we need to see, and if not, then step back and help them to see their reality. That could be what we're being asked to see this week, our ability to witness. Okay, so energies this week. Gosh. So today on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we'll go to the Sunday again overall. Okay, so it is a week of balance. We have the Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the pack, and this is very much that energy that I was speaking of, bringing down. So you can't quite see. In the other hand, she has up in the air, almost invisible, but she's calling down something and balancing it in her actions. Okay, so it's one thing to call down an intention, but what are we doing to nurture that intention as the bearer, as the carrier, as the guardian of that vision? You know, oh, we want to get healthy, we're still eating X, Y, and Z. Oh, we want to give up smoking, we're still X, Y, and Z. And there's no judgment there, I've done them all. But it is about recognizing it's a two-way process, it's co-collaboration here. You know, intention is going to bring up things that are standing in the way of that intention as the parent of what it is we are trying to deliver. So keeping that in mind. And overall this week we have the Seven of Wands. So really keep going. Keep going. Place yourself in that bubble. Like the cards, you just aren't very clear. All I can see is the bubble here. But placing yourself in that bubble of not defensiveness, It doesn't need to get to the point where it is a defensiveness because we haven't had that ability to step back and witness. If we can stay in our own energy, mind our own busyness this week, you know, we can really concentrate on our own intentions. And the 7 is endurance. We can start to take that hard work and turn it into the 8 of the mastery by remaining in our own energy this week in particular. Okay, so today on the Sunday, this actually did come up today, this card, and it's the Queen of Swords. So I want to go back to that advice that the Queen of Swords gave me this morning. Keeping our mind open, our heart light, and our root deep and grounded this week is how we're going to really connect to that higher wisdom and energy trying to come through, and knowing what to share, being very sovereign in what it is we share. Are we sharing from a level of wanting to learn, which is fine? Are we sharing from the level of the teacher? Is there any difference in how we share? Okay, in regards to that, so I know that over the next few days I'm going to learn just as much about myself as I will be able to teach. And there's real humility in that, knowing that whatever is occurring around us, whatever we share with somebody, it is in sharing it that we receive lessons back, whether that's healing for somebody, whether that's reading for somebody. You know, we are all connected here, and there is that beautiful humility in that, to know that we are not separate. You know, we are all connected. There is no hierarchy here. In regards to the feminine has no hierarchy. We are all children of the earth. We are all here. We are all needed in our energy and our purpose and our very being. Okay, and that really helps open the mind to our potential, open our heart to the light that we are, and ground us into our physical body. So on the Monday we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yes. On the Monday we have the Knight of Pentacles, and really taking stock of where we are in order to move forward. So I really needed to make sure that that was the energy for that day. So really taking stock of, I don't even need to show the cards because they're not showing up. Really taking stock of what we feel in that energy on that day. When it comes to intention, we can have an incredible idea, do what we need to do, and then let go. There is no point trying to push something that isn't quite ready. So feeling into that, being grounded in the stage of process, whatever it is we are trying to manifest is at. And that is on the 666 portal. Really grounding into our masculine ability to know where we are, to know we have done all we can about something, and when the time comes again, we will keep moving forward, acting in the moment. But it is about being in the moment on the Monday. 111. I just had to stop, pause, drink, and yeah, the time was 111. Perfect. Okay, on the Tuesday we have the 3 of Pentacles, and we do have that coming together. We do have that help coming in, and I love how, again, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Perfect. On the Monday we have this man walking forward, this masculine walking forward, and on the Tuesday the knowledge, the wisdom that he's walking forward with helps other people to create, to weave. Just beautiful, just beautiful. Is there anything else with that? What I feel is, can that be enough? Of course, we can share our experience, and that is enough. You know, we can share as long as we acknowledge that it is our experience, our journey. Like he is there, he's leaving, aspects of his journey behind, like breadcrumbs, like seeds, yeah, and moving forward. And that is enough to have that growth behind us. Okay, that is enough to recognize that where we have been is enough to help build our belief in our own intention this week, or could be, really could be. And it is Tuesday about surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals that help to emphasize that. Okay, I feel very different timelines occurring this week, and just to remain grounded, in where we are, because there's a lot of healing occurring in regards to judgment, in particular on the Wednesday. Can't quite see it. Yeah, I think that's as clear a focus as we're going to get on the Wednesday, and that feels like key to know that whatever is released on the Wednesday almost doesn't need regurgitating, it almost doesn't need bringing back in. A lot of the times when we look at healing, when we try and do more than is necessary, it's because we don't believe we've done enough, we don't believe we are enough, we don't believe we are ready, you know, all of these things, and it all comes from worth and lack of self-worth. So on the Wednesday, really letting that go. Regardless of the name, regardless of the wound, regardless of the trigger, anything that doesn't feel right, letting it go, giving yourself permission to breathe in what does feel right and align to that feeling, and let go of what doesn't. Wednesday feels very much physical manifestation, physical mediumship here, so very much connecting to what it is we are trying to achieve, aligning our body with that, and just releasing anything that isn't in alignment with that. On the Thursday we have the Eight of Wands, and I wanted to go like my body was like, oh God, come on. It feels like a long drawn out week this week. It feels like a week that is equivalent to a month, but actually on the Thursday it isn't. We have the Eight of Wands, and there's a lot coming together. There's, you know, it can feel like a lot when we assume that it's just us involved in a situation, but there's a lot of energies at play here, slotting into place on the Thursday. So take that time to enjoy that rest, to enjoy that pause, you know, to just be. On the Wednesday we can be like, I'm ready, I've aligned to my purpose, to my soul, to the energy I want to bring in. And on the Thursday it's like, well, where is it? I've aligned to it, where is it? Just taking that pause. When we pause, every time we get a moment to pause, we are realigning. See it that way. Every time we get a chance to breathe, we are restocking. We are preparing for the next wave, if you will, the next change, the next growth. Okay, so to really push in that energy is going to cause trauma. So be grateful for those pauses Wednesday, Thursday time. It is going to be intriguing and excitable, because on the Friday we have the World, and that feels like all week we're going to get insights into who we are and what it is we actually bring to the lives of others and our own, and that's exciting, and that can make us look around and think, why am I still doing this? Why am I still doing X, Y, and Z? Hang on, I'm really ready. Acknowledging I want to take this journey on, I want to do this. Again, just being with that excitable energy and not letting ourselves get too bored with the weight, because we have the World card on the Friday, and again we have that bubble. And it's like being protected by the feminine here. Being protected, she knows when you're ready. We may feel ready, but you know, our higher self knows when we're ready. And it's going back to that co-collaboration with the earth, the universe, and our higher self, and trusting that, okay? Because on this Saturday, we do have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, yeah, it's a little bit, I'm bored now. I'm ready, I want to get on with this, I'm bored now. But actually, again, recognizing in those pauses, in those moments, there is more coming in, there is more gifts coming in, there is more pieces to the jigsaw to come in. And it is in regards to, on the Sunday we have the Five of Pentacles, it is in regards to our ability to believe in ourselves and our hope and our faith. Now, you know, things can really start to shift and start to happen this week, and there is great potential there for that, and that can make us really think like, I'm ready to do X, Y, and Z. Oh no, I have nothing holding me back, I'm good to go. But actually taking those moments in between, recognizing the pauses are a chance to grow and to expand, is where we get to see, okay, maybe I'm not quite as aligned as I thought, maybe I'm not quite as ready. That's okay. Thank goodness for this opportunity to change my vibration, to look at where I'm at, to reflect on my journey, to regain that belief in myself. So we do have the Ace of Swords and the Magician underneath, and it really does feel as if a higher vision is coming in than we even had planned. You know, when we don't take stock, when we don't make the most of the gaps in between, we continue to create from that level that we're at. And this week that level increases, which is fantastic. But there's more. I can hear, come here, there's more, and there's more to come. So it's about really trusting our soul's vision of us this week in particular, and the magic that can be created when we align to that. Okay. So what I hear is we are the seeds of our soul, and it's about letting our soul nurture us now to do that, to become our own potential. So we're 30 minutes. So let's summarize. A lot of pentacles this week. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pentacles, and I just want to go back to the major arcanas first. Actually, we have Judgment and the World. Yes, underneath we have the Magician, but that's underneath it all, and that feels very relevant, that the magic is coming up from the earth this week, and to be really open to receive that wisdom, her knowing, and allow her to be the soul potential that wants to be carried up through us in our actions. Because then we recognize our worth. Then we recognize our connection here, in particular again over the 666 portal. Then we release any judgment that we may have on why we are here, you know, whether or not we are worthy, what we're trying to manifest. Then we have a much bigger force behind us, the earth herself, our mother, Pachamama, behind us, pushing out what she needs through us this week. It takes a lot of courage to surrender to that, but it's nothing that we can't do if we pause, ground and relax into our physical body. This is the gift she gave us, to feel what it is that is needed of us. Okay, so let's go back to the pentacles. That feels like the actual message this week in regards to the pentacles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have that stability, but we also have that look at what it is we are holding on to. We do have the 2 of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles. Really looking at our own belief in regards to our connection with the earth and our ability to create alongside of the earth here. Really looking at whether or not we trust our connection to the earth. It's not the mother wound, it's very similar to the mother wound, but it's more about our soul wound and our physical place here. I hear the fall from grace, that's what I hear, you know, really looking at our ascension for the descent that it is, for the, rather than, oh gosh, you know, this happened, that happened, that's part of our ascension. When we go through these aspects, you know, we become grounded, we learn to weave the life that it is we are trying to live, and we learn to believe in ourselves. And from that level, we then can create with a much higher, worthy energy of the earth herself. Okay, we then have one sword card. We do have the Ace of Swords underneath, but again, that feels like that's the relevant message. The magic is coming from underneath. The magic is coming from the communication of the earth this week. What are we hearing from the very ground that we're walking, from the very path that we continue to tread? What is it guiding us towards? What is it forming within us? What person is our journey making us? And we get to decide this. We get to decide what we take forward in the lessons that we have received this week, and that is the Queen of Swords. Again, coming back to deeply grounded in our root, deeply grounded in our physical body. Our light is heart, our heart is light, our light is heart, but yes, our heart is light and our mind is open, and being of service, love and wisdom to the earth from that level. We then have 2 wand cards, so a really nice balance there of the 7 and 8 of wands, and that is the mastery, to be of service with a light heart and an open mind in whatever it is we do, to ourselves and to each other and to the earth and to our purpose. And it's that makes the difference between being defensive in order to be who we are, you know, withdrawn or in somebody's face to be who we are. That's the difference with the fight here. We're talking the peaceful warrior. To know who we are and to be of service from that space is mastery itself of the soul, of the spirit, of our drive and our ambition. And when we're in that place, we then connect to what the earth wants from us and for us too, and that energy just builds. And what I see now is the bubble in the Seven of Wands, like an amniotic sac, and that connection is needed in order to burst the waters this week. Then we move on to the cup cards, and we have the Four of Cups. One cup card, really recognizing that the Ace of Cups, the one cup, is our connection to our emotions, our connection to the earth, and not seeing this feminine pause, this ability to take a breather, this rites of passage as boring, but as a gift, as an opportunity to really reflect on what has occurred, to really reflect on the changes, so that we don't spend our focus trying to achieve something that has already happened this week in particular, to really see being in this moment for the gift that it is, the void of potential, the cosmic womb, the wisdom that is available to us all to create magic, not only our magic, but magic for the earth and from the earth this week. Powerful, powerful, powerful week. I will include a meditation to the belly of Pachamama for the 666 portal, for all those that want to reconnect. Yeah. And we have Temperance and the Six of Swords. Okay, so really, I was going to show you the picture, but really standing into your own vision of what temperance is to you, really standing into your own vision of balance, of the ability to witness, of the ability to see from a higher perspective, of the temperance has a triangle on her chest, the masculine and the feminine, of sacred union, really looking at what that means to you this week. And with the Six of Swords, moving forward mentally, once and for all. Take care, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and an incredible 666 portal. Take care.